children, how are you? I hope you all are doing well, studying well, listening to your parents and trying to find out more and more things happening around you in nature due to the science process. Isn't science interesting? Doesn't it give you elaborate knowledge about everything possible? So now when you're thinking, is your thinking more from what can be the scientific reason behind this? Isn't it? So that's the absolutely right way of thinking, because behind everything there is science. Alright. So now let's talk about the transport of substances in plants. We all know that plants play a major role in our life. So we should know what happens with the plants and how is it that plants are made, what are the substances inside them, and how do we get the products from the plants. Alright. So we are going to talk about the nutrition, autotrophic and heterotrophic nutrition, and process of photosynthesis. So food is essential for all living organisms. Plants can make their own food, but animals cannot. Nutrition is the mode of taking food by an organism and the utilization by the organism. The mode of nutrition in which organisms make food from simple substances is called autotrophic nutrition. So we all know food is one of the basic requirement for any survival on earth. Any living organism cannot live without food, water, air, sunlight. We all need all these things for our survival. So food plays a major role. Now the nutrition, what is nutrition? It is the mode of taking food by an organism and utilization by the organism. That means what we eat and how is it used by our body. Similarly, what nutrition do the plants take and how is it utilized for their growth, right? Now, when the plants take simple substances and prepare food, then they are called autotrophic nutrition. That means the mode of nutrition in which the organism, that is a living being, makes food from simple substance is called autotrophic nutrition. Now green plants, they are autotrophs. And why are they autotrophs? Because they use simple things for making food. And we all know what are the simple things that the plants use. We know that plants use, what do they use? They use sunlight, they use air, they use water. So this is what they use and they make their own food. Now they animals, on the other hand, animals and most other organisms take in ready-made food. They take in something which is ready-made food, which is prepared by the plants. So plants are the first source who are making the food, using simple substances, and then animals and other living organisms like us, we are dependent on the plants. Clear? Now leaves. What are the leaves? They are the food factories of the plant. The leaves have a green pigment which is called the chlorophyll. Now the flat part of the leaf is called the leaf blade. Have you seen the leaf? The flat part of the leaf is called the leaf blade and it is attached to the stem by stalk. A leaf has one main vein called the midleaf. The bigger line in between the leaf is called the midleaf. And many side veins are there, small veins coming out of the midleaf are there. Now these small veins they help to transport water, minerals and food to different parts of the plant. If you look at the diagram, you will come to know everything very clearly with regards to the different parts of the plant, and the leaf section of the plant. Now underside of the leaf, that means that under the leaf, the back side of the leaf, there are tiny openings. Now these tiny openings are called stomata. The stomata helps in the exchange of gases. Now the leaf takes in carbon dioxide and it gives out oxygen and water vapor through it, and this is the oxygen that we use. Alright. Now there is a process called photosynthesis which is used by the plants. Now this process is known as the process of making food by the green plants by taking in carbon dioxide from the air and water from the soil with the help of sunlight. Sunlight plays a major role, okay, from the sun is called photosynthesis. Now, photo, what does the word photo means? It means light, and synthesis means to put together. Okay, so sunlight put together with water and carbon dioxide is to form food. Okay, so the process of making food in plants is known as photosynthesis, and this happens in the presence of sunlight, okay, wherein carbon dioxide is taken, okay, water is taken from the soil, and then food is prepared by the plants. Now, carbon dioxide from air plus water from soil, okay, with chlorophyll. Okay, chlorophyll is what? As we already said, chlorophyll is a green colored substance. Okay, it's a substance which gives the color green to the plants. Okay, now with the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight gives you glucose. Glucose, that's the food, plus oxygen which goes into the air in the form of water vapor. Okay. Now, the food prepared by plants is in the form of simple sugar. Extra food is stored in the form of starch. It is used in number of ways by the plant. So, what's the main purpose of it? It is used to get energy, and some of it is used for the growth. Okay. So, we eat some parts of a plant which has food stored in it. Now, what are these? Like we have leaves, the spinach that we eat. What do we eat of the spinach? We eat the leaves. Okay. Mango is a fruit. Peas, we eat the seeds, okay, inside the skin. All right. Now, sugarcane, what is it? We have the stem of the sugarcane, and carrot, we have the root. So, these are the different parts of the plant in which the food is stored. Now, activity. We have to do this activity to find out that there is starch is produced during photosynthesis. Okay. Now, what do you need over here? You need a healthy leaf, you need some iodine solution, and you need alcohol. Okay. Children, any activity must be done in the presence of elders or teachers. Okay. Now, procedure. You have to pluck a healthy green leaf from a plant. Take alcohol in the test tube, okay, and put leaf into it. So, put the leaf inside the test tube. Keep the test tube in water and boil it. Wash the leaf with water and put a few drops of iodine solution on it. Okay. So, you take a healthy leaf, you add alcohol, okay, in the test tube, you drop the leaf inside that, and then you keep the test tube in water and you start boiling it. Okay. Then you wash the leaf with water and then put a few drops of iodine solution on it, and then you will observe that the leaf turns blue and black. Okay. So, what does it show? This shows that starch is present in a green leaf. Now, there are certain precautions that we need to take during while we are doing this activity. Never boil alcohol directly over flame, otherwise alcohol will catch fire. Okay. Now, the next activity is to show that sunlight is needed for photosynthesis. Okay. What is the material that we need for this experiment? We need a healthy potted plant and black paper. Okay. The procedure: keep the plant in dark for 24 hours. Okay. Select a healthy leaf from the potted plant. Now, you've kept the plant in dark for 24 hours. You've picked up a leaf from the potted plant and you cover one of its leaf partly with a strip of black paper. So, now you cover it partly with a strip of black paper and then keep the plant in sunlight, okay, for 4 to 5 hours. Remove the black paper, boil the leaf in alcohol to remove the chlorophyll. Wash the leaf in water. Dip the leaf in iodine solution. Okay, what will you observe? You will observe that the entire leaf, except the part, okay, that you've put it in dark, okay, covered with the dark black paper, it turns blue-black. Only that part turns blue-black and rest remains green. Okay. Now, what does this tell us? It tells us that light is necessary for photosynthesis. Okay. Now, The third experiment is to show that chlorophyll is necessary for photosynthesis. Okay. Now, here we take a healthy coleus plant with variegated leaves, iodine solution and alcohol. You look at the picture of the leaf that is given here, and then you take that leaf, okay, and then you along with that you take the iodine solution and alcohol. You take a coleus leaf, draw its outline on a sheet of paper. Now, you draw that leaf on a sheet of paper, mark the green and non-green areas. Okay, so, if you look at this leaf, it is a shaded leaf. So, it is shaded like it's a shade of green and yellow in it. Okay. Now, what you will do is you will mark the green and non-green areas and then boil the leaf in alcohol to bleach. Wash the leaf in water and then dip it in iodine solution. Your observation would be that the parts of the leaf, okay, which are green in color, they will turn blue-black. Okay. So, this shows that chlorophyll is necessary for photosynthesis. Okay. Now, what are the other modes of nutrition in plants? Okay. Apart from this procedure, okay, the procedure of photosynthesis, there are other ways also, okay, because not everywhere, okay, do they get the required minerals for the or the nutrients for the growth. Okay. So, other modes of nutrition in plants are some leaves or some plants like the cactus. Okay. If you have looked at the cactus plant, it does not have leaves. Okay. So, the food is made in the green and fleshy stem. So, it has stems. If you ever looked at a cactus plant, you will see that it does not have leaves at all. Okay. Those are all the stems of the plant. So, that is where the food is prepared. Now, most plants, they are autotrophs. Okay. However, there are certain plants which obtain their food from the other sources. Okay, that is, they exhibit heterotrophic mode of nutrition. They may be saprophytic, parasitic, symbiotic and insectivorous. Okay. Now, let us look at them one by one. So, the plants, although they look similar, but they are of different types. Okay. So, and they take in different types of nutrition. Alright. Okay. So, what is saprotrophic? Okay. In saprotrophic nutrition, the mode of nutrition in which the organisms depend on dead and decaying matter is called saprotrophic mode of nutrition, and organisms are known as saprophytes. Okay. So, example is yeast, mold and mushroom. So, now all these are considered as non-green plants and are grouped as fungi. Okay. So, they are all a part of fungi, and fungi is commonly seen growing during rainy season on clothes, leather purses or any other leather item, bread, jam, pickle, etc. So, bread and bhaturas are made fluffy by adding yeast into the dough. Okay. So, this is a saprotrophic mode of nutrition. Okay. So, whenever you look at a yeast, okay, or a fungi or a mold somewhere. So, mold is what, if you see that there is a green color substance which comes on the bread when, generally when we have a bread which is expired. Okay. If you open the packet, you will see that there is a layer of greenish layer on that. Okay. Now, this layer is formed automatically with the moisture in the air. Okay. Similarly, mushrooms and all also, okay, they use the dead and decaying matter from the soil as the mode of their nutrition. Okay. They do not prepare their own food. Now, let us look at the parasitic mode of nutrition. Okay. Now, in this mode of nutrition, organisms depend on other living organism, okay, which is known as the host. Okay. Example, the cuscuta. Okay. Now, plant obtain all, okay, either take the entire or part of its nutrition from another plant, okay, without benefiting the host, which may be causing damage to host. So, what happens is, like if you see in plants also, if you will see that there are certain plants, suppose you have planted a rose plant, and then in that you see that there are other plants growing. Now these plants are actually nothing but weeds, okay. They are not good for the plant, okay. They are unwanted part of the plant. So when these plants grow, okay, they are growing, it is benefiting them, but it is not benefiting the plant on which they are growing, okay. So these are called the parasitic plants, and that is the reason why you must have seen that the gardener always plucks the weeds first. That is because otherwise they will make the plant unhealthy, okay. Now then there is symbiotic mode of nutrition in which two living organisms live together and are benefited from each other. They are called symbionts, okay. Example, rhizobium or lichen, okay. Now what is rhizobium? Rhizobium bacteria, it lives in the root nodules of pea plants and fix atmospheric nitrogen. So it is these type of plants, the symbiotic plants, okay. They it means that two organisms, they are living together, okay, and they are benefiting each other. Alright, now the symbionts, they are also called symbionts, okay. Like the rhizobium bacteria, it lives in the root nodules, okay, the root nodules of pea plants, and it fixes atmospheric nitrogen. Lichen, what is a lichen? It is an example of symbiotic association of fungi and algae, okay. So it is where fungi and algae come together, okay. Fungi provides protein to the algae, where algae prepares food and supplies it to the fungi, okay. Now there are some plants which feed on insects, okay. There are plants that trap the insects, okay. Now these plants are called insectivorous plants. Example, the pitcher plant, the sundew, the Venus flytrap, okay. So in the name itself, you know that it traps the insects inside them and they feed on these insects, okay. Now in pitcher plant, the leaf is modified into pitcher like structure. So it looks like a pitcher, look the jar that is there, okay. You know, a pitcher means a jar, okay. So if you look at the plant, it looks like a jar, okay. So it has a pitcher like structure. The pitcher has a lid also, okay. The cup shaped plant stores up a sweet smelling juice. There is a sweet smelling juice which is stored in it, okay. Now this juice attracts insects, okay, into its mouth. So inside the pitcher there are digestive juices. Now whenever an insect sits on the pitcher, it gets trapped, okay. So that sweet smelling juice is used by them to trap the insect, okay. The digestive juices digest the body of the insect and the digested food is absorbed by the plant. They consume insects to fulfill their nitrogen requirement. So this is how the plants use different modes of nutrition for their survival, okay. Now, alright, now let's talk about the interdependence of plants and animals. We all know that living organisms are dependent on each other, isn't it, for their survival and for their needs, alright. Now, plants and animals, they depend on each other for survival. Animals give out carbon dioxide, okay, during breathing, which is used by the plants in the process of photosynthesis, okay. Now, plants give food and oxygen to animals and humans. The oxygen released after photosynthesis is essential for the survival of all living things. So, during the process of photosynthesis, what happens? In the process of photosynthesis, plants make their food. Now, what do they use the food? They use to make the food, they use carbon dioxide in the form, the air that they use is a carbon dioxide. So, we take in oxygen from the plants and give out carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide is used by the plants along with water and chlorophyll and sunlight, okay. Now, this is most important for the survival for the of the plants, okay. The oxygen released after photosynthesis is essential for the survival of all living things, okay. So, now let us talk about energy flow in living things. We all require energy to do anything that we need, energy, okay. Anything and everything we need energy to do it, alright. Now, energy is required by us for every activity. this energy, where do we get this energy from? We get this energy from the food which is prepared by green plants with the help of the sun's energy. Okay. So, this energy passes to plant eating animals like cow, rabbit, etc. These are in turn eaten by animals like tiger, lion, snake, etc. and snakes are eaten by eagles. So, thus a pattern of who eats whom exists in the nature. This is also called food chain. Okay. So, there is a flow of energy in a food chain. The energy flows from sun to green plants, to plant eaters and then to animal eaters. Okay. So, that is the food chain. Energy from sun, okay, energy is utilized from the sun, okay, by the green plants. Now, green plants are eaten by the plant eating animals and then the plant eating animals are eaten by the animals who eat other animals. All right. So, this is the food chain. Now, there is a balance in nature. Okay. A balance between plants and animals is needed. If there is a drastic decrease in the number of plants, the animals will starve to death. Similarly, if the number of animals reduces extremely, the level of carbon dioxide will not be sufficient for all plants. Okay. So, balance in nature between plants and animals is essential. Okay. To maintain balance, we have to protect plants and animals. Okay. So, it is very important that a balance is maintained in the amount of plants and animals, because if plants do not exist, animals will have nothing to eat and they will starve. And now, if animals are not there, okay, what will happen? If animals are not there, the trees, the plants and all will not get the required carbon dioxide to prepare food. Okay. So, it is inadvertently affecting each other. Okay. Now, government has launched many programs like One Mahotsav that helps to promote planting of more and more trees. Practice of cutting trees is highly condemned. Okay. And certain programs like Project Tiger, Project Rhino, etc. are being launched under wildlife protection programs to protect this natural wealth. So, our government is putting in lot of efforts. Okay. People are coming together to protect the trees, okay, from deforestation. They do not want people to cut down the trees, they want more and more trees to be planted. Okay. So, they are trying to do a lot of tree plantation, they are trying to run a lot of tree plantation drives. There is One Mahotsav which is celebrated. Okay. And apart from that, there are projects like Project Tiger, Project Rhino. Okay. This is to save the animals from getting extinct. Okay. These are all the endangered species, okay, which are, okay, in that level or in that risk of getting extinct. Okay. So, if we want to survive on earth, the need of the hour is to maintain the balance in nature. All right. Now, let us quickly revise the chapter. Nutrition is the mode of taking food by the organism and its utilization. The process of making food, okay, that is starch in plants, is called photosynthesis. Water, chlorophyll, carbon dioxide and sunlight that is required by the plants to prepare their food. Organisms that prepare their own food by the process of photosynthesis are called autotrophs, and the mode of nutrition is autotrophic. Okay. Heterotrophs are, they can be saprophytes, parasites, symbionts and insectivorous. Insectivorous plants depend on insects for nitrogenous food. Plants and animals are interdependent, and the flow of energy from sun to green plants and then to animals and human beings exist. Okay. In nature, a balance between plants and animals is necessary. All right. So, children, I hope you have followed this chapter, okay, and now when you look at the plants and all, you will be able to easily relate it, and you now know why is it so important to plant more trees. Okay. All right. So, let us test your knowledge of this chapter by doing the exercise quickly. Okay. So, multiple choice question. Take the correct option. Lichens are parasites, saprophytes, symbionts or heterotrophs. They are symbionts. Okay. Which a plant is an example of insectivore, parasitic, saprotroph or symbiotic? It is an example of insectivore. Okay. Which of the following chemicals is used in starch test? Safranin, iodine, blue ink or red ink? It is the iodine. The products of photosynthesis are carbon dioxide and oxygen, glucose and carbon dioxide, glucose and oxygen, or water and carbon dioxide. It is glucose and oxygen. Okay. Now, fill in the blanks. Dash is used to test the presence of starch. What do we use? We use an iodine solution. In lichens, dash and dash are symbionts. It is fungi and algae. The small pores on the lower side of a leaf are called stomata. Green plants are called dash because they make their own food. They are called autotrophs. In dash, the photosynthesis takes place in the green and fleshy stem in cactus. Okay. Now, write T for true and F for false statement. Green plants are heterotrophs. False, they are autotrophs. Okay. Okay. Now, Cuscuta is a parasitic plant. It is true. The mode of nutrition in lichens is symbiotic. True. In photosynthesis, plants take in oxygen. False. They take in carbon dioxide. Light is necessary for photosynthesis. Absolutely true. Now, match the column A with column B. Gas released during photosynthesis is oxygen. The parasitic plant, which is the parasitic plant here, it is the Cuscuta. A non-green plant, mold. And the process of preparing food is called photosynthesis. Okay. Now, give one example of each. Autotroph plant, okay, any plant, you can say mango, okay. Insectivorous plants, pitcher plant, alright. Now, parasite plant, Cuscuta, okay. Fungus, you can say mold or algae, alright. Now, classify the following organisms into parasite, saprophyte and autotroph, okay. Yeast, what is yeast? Yeast is a saprophyte. Okay. Cuscuta, parasite. Algae, mushroom and mold, they are all saprophytes, and roses, autotroph. Okay. Now, short answer questions. What is the process of photosynthesis? We have seen this, okay, already. It is the process of wherein the plants make their food in the presence of air, okay, water, sunlight, okay, and chlorophyll. Okay. Now, you can mention this answer by looking at the text in the first para, wherein we have spoken about what is the process of photosynthesis. Okay. Photosynthesis is the process of making food by the green plants by taking carbon dioxide from air and water from the soil with the help of sunlight from the sun. Okay. So, this is the process of photosynthesis. Okay. Now, Cuscuta is a parasitic plant. Why is Cuscuta a parasitic plant? Cuscuta is a parasitic plant because it obtains all or part of its nutrition from another plant, which is the host plant, without benefiting the host, maybe by causing damage to the host. Okay. Now, the next one. What are the raw materials used in photosynthesis? What are the raw materials used here? Carbon dioxide, okay, air, that is the raw material, water, okay, and chlorophyll. Alright. Now, what type of relation is shown by lichens? Okay. What is the relation that the lichens show? Okay. So, lichens show the relation of symbiotic association of fungi and algae. Okay. So, fungi provides protein to the algae, whereas algae prepares food and supplies it to the fungi. So, it shows that type of association, the symbiotic association. Okay. How is the extra food stored in the plants? In the form of, it is stored in the form of starch. Alright. Now, long answer questions. So, children, the first one is to show an activity that a green leaf has starch in it. So, you already know this activity and you can mention it in your answer. Okay. What do you understand by the autotrophic mode of nutrition? Okay. The mode of nutrition autotrophic, where the plants make their food using simple substances. Elaborate this answer. Okay. How insectivorous plants feed on insects. So, like the example of pitcher plant which is mentioned, okay, you can accordingly write it over here, how they are dependent on insects and how do they take in the insect. Okay. How plants and animals are interdependent, like the process of balance between the plants and animals in nature is what you need to explain here in detail. Alright. Now, critical thinking skills. Okay. Fungi cannot prepare their food. Why? Because you need a substance which is called chlorophyll, okay, and there is no chlorophyll present in fungi. Okay. What will happen if there is no photosynthesis in plants? Okay. If there is no photosynthesis in plants, no food will be prepared. Okay. So, no food for animals and no oxygen given out by plants. So, all organisms will eventually die because we need food for our survival. Okay. Now, case-based study. The mode of nutrition in which organisms make food from simple substances is called autotrophic nutrition. Green plants are called autotrophs as they use simple things for making food. Animals and most other organisms take in ready-made food prepared by the plants. They are called heterotrophs and the mode of nutrition is called heterotrophic nutrition. Leaves are the food factories of plant. The leaves have a green pigment which is called the chlorophyll. The flat part of a leaf is called leaf blade. Leaf is attached to the stem by stalk. A leaf has one main vein which is called the midrif and then many side veins that help to transport water, minerals and food to different parts of the plant. The underside of the leaf has many tiny openings called stomata. The stomata helps in the exchange of gases. Leaves take in carbon dioxide, gives out oxygen and water vapor through it. So now the flat part of the leaf is called the leaf blade, which what helps in the exchange of gases in plants? The exchange of gases happens in the stomata. Okay. What is autotrophic nutrition? Autotrophic nutrition is the mode of nutrition in which organisms make food from simple substances. And what is the function of midrif? Midrif has many side veins attached to it which help into transport water, minerals and food to different parts of the plant. Alright. Now, life skills. Collect the food items in which plants extra food is stored like mango, pear, carrot, etc. and classify them as root, stem, leaf, carrot, fruit or seed. Okay. So, already have carrot here which is a root. Now, find out more. Alright. Now, let us do something new. You have to test the presence of starch in different food items. We have already done this experiment. So, use that. Alright. Now, collect food items brought in your lunch box. Add a drop of iodine solution on a piece of each food item. Also note which food item turns blue black. This is how you will test it. Okay. Explore. Observe the following picture. Have you seen these type of plants? These plants are grown by different technique and are called dwarf plants. This technique is called bonsai. Okay. Collect more information about it. How is it beneficial to us? Okay. Now, bonsai, in the process of bonsai, you have the normal plants also. Even a mango plant is turned into a dwarf plant. But for that, you need to go to any plant nursery and find out more information how this process is done. But before you go to the nursery, you need to reread this chapter, complete all the exercises and then over the weekend, you can go with your parents to the nursery and get the information. So, get going.